So as fucked up as COVID-19 is, I think that in the long run, that this will be a blessing in disguise for all of us. Being in this pandemic has given me a realization of the things that really matter in life, which is survival. Survival is the root bare essential of our existence. And if nothing existed in the world except for you, your family, and nature, then the main reason that you would all wake up in the morning is to gather food, gather water, and enjoy each other's company and build a sense of community. The US now is basically a borderline third world country. Our freedoms are more limited, our food supply is more limited, and it's more dangerous to go outside. And these are the conditions that citizens of third world countries live in every single day. And because they live in these conditions, they're not as concerned in things like job titles and economic status and possessions as people in first world countries are. In our first world lives, we can practically get anything delivered to our door, we can come and go as we please, and we can start businesses just using our smartphones. Pretty much every first world inconvenience has an app for that. So our problems are no longer about survival. And if our problems are no longer about survival, then the next thing that our problem radars tend to migrate to is status. American culture overemphasizes people's economic status, glamorizes people with expensive things, and envies people's Instagram followings. And this brainwashes us into putting our attention into things that are more superficial. It's a modern day keeping up with the Joneses. And as a result, we compulsively keep up with a cesspool of content filled with happy couple photos, travel photos, and people's success stories. And to be honest, I'm guilty of some of these things too. And then we go as far as to criticize the people who would rather work normal jobs, the people that are seen as unambitious and settling for less, the people who would much rather have a good work-life balance than to be a millionaire. They're the people that are grocery store clerks, food service workers, doctors, and so on. You know, the people that we rely so heavily on right now. Imagine you're the type of person to get caught up in these superficial things. You buy yourself a new watch because you want to look the part of being a successful CEO. You buy a new car for yourself so you can flex on Instagram because you think that's the proper way to market your business. And then the pandemic happens and the economy basically becomes the last season of The Walking Dead, and now you're left with all of these expensive things and all of the expenses that come along with it. Yeah, not so cool anymore. Now that the pandemic has erased our schedules and removed all physical contact with the outside world, it now frees us up to focus more on our own lives, our own interests, and our own survival. And the only thing left to show off is that sweet-ass stack of toilet paper you bought. I know you've probably seen plenty of videos where people are saying, now that we have all this free time, do all the things that you've been putting off for a while, like starting that YouTube channel, writing that screenplay, or learning a new language. And I don't disagree with any of these things. I think they're all very important, and we all need to make the most of the time that we have. But I do think that it's also equally as important that we take the time to learn about ourselves. When you remove the clutter of everyday life and you're just left with yourself and your thoughts, it gives us the opportunity to not only understand ourselves better, but also to be more creative. And it's hard to do these things when you're constantly being distracted by work, phone calls, meetings, friends, family, social media, and Netflix. And being in an environment where your mind is a lot quieter and calmer gives you the opportunity to actually hear your own thoughts without being bombarded by other distractions. And it gives you the freedom to start understanding the why behind your decisions. And not understanding the why behind your decision making can lead you to doing things that aren't exactly worthy of your time. So before you start trying to be as productive as society is telling you to be, also make sure that you're taking the time to understand why you're going to put your time and energy into the specific thing that you're choosing to do. Don't be productive for the sake of being productive, because that's actually pretty unproductive. It's pretty easy to give in to the social pressure of it, especially when you're on social media refreshing it 100 times an hour just because you can. So don't be afraid to slow down a little bit just so you can sit back and analyze what it is exactly that you want to get out of all the extra time that we're going to be having. It's not like we're going anywhere. This month I was actually planning on shooting a short film. It was going to be my first short film that I have shot in, and I was planning on doing it like early in the year, and I kept putting it off because my schedule was getting busy and I was making excuses to like put it off. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I started to realize that it wasn't because of my schedule. It was more, I was just afraid to start it. Like, it was something that was new for me. It was something that was uncomfortable for me to do. And it was a big step in the creative direction that I really want to be taking myself. And that's scary because you're adopting like a new value, like a new sort of mindset for yourself and going into that. So when I finally realized that, I decided to say fuck it, and I just set up a date, and I told myself, no matter what, I'm going to stick to this date. And then of course the pandemic happens, and I didn't want to put people's lives at risk, so of course I canceled it, and I was pretty bummed to do it, but at the same time I know that nobody's life is worth my projects. Like, we always make excuses to put things off, like, oh, I'll do it when I'm less busy, so I'll do it when I have more money, whatever. You never really know when something completely out of your control is going to throw you off of that trajectory. And who knows, like, this pandemic can be a lot worse than what we think it's going to be, or it could be a lot better than we think it's going to be. We don't really know. But the point is that you can't wait too long to do the things that you want to be doing, because someday is never guaranteed. And I strongly believe that when all this shit is done, we are going to have a much stronger perspective, a much stronger gratitude for just normal everyday life. Just to be able to walk outside and walk around the neighborhood, go eat at a restaurant with your friends, go to a bar, just go hiking and get stuck in LA traffic. I actually kind of miss that, to be honest, as weird as that sounds. Thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. And now that I'm done filming it, I can take this thing off because it's hard to breathe in that thing. But wear a mask. It does a lot more than you think it does. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.